Welcome to Prodigal, the podcast, where we discuss inspiring stories of self-discovery and transformation. Join your host, Don Jackson, and his dynamic co-host, Big Sean, as they lead you through captivating conversations, all designed to ignite your spirit and broaden your horizons. Whether you're on a journey of personal growth or simply enjoy staying up to date on the latest in culture, you've made the right choice. Get ready to be inspired, entertained, and enlightened. This is Prodigal, the podcast.
Good morning, and welcome back to another episode of Prodigal, the podcast. Hi, I'm your host, Don Jackson, and also welcome this morning, my Big Sean. How are you, man?
I mean, I'm good, but it's enough of that bullshit. You keep calling me the big, like I'm big back for real. But hold on, my name is Big Sean.
I have a monitor. You have a monitor. Look at my head.
Okay.
Look at your ear.
Okay. But look at here. Well, look at here. We got company, so we ain't gonna do all this here today. You understand me? I'm already mad about the stuff. So, but we ain't gonna do all that.
I don't start nothing, but I can't finish it.
Whatever.
I never started it.
Yeah. Well, yeah,
but I
you
can't
start.
finish it.
Whoa, big.
But man, how you doing this morning? Come on.
Well,
Why you being grumpy? Did you walk this morning? No, you didn't.
No, man, I'm still tripping off of my celebration in Tulsa, Oklahoma, Juneteenth, and the bull crap that went on. So I'm still feeling it.
I understand.
Yeah,
I understand it. That's a whole nother
that part there. That part there.
Actually, we're gonna do we're going to bring them all in and actually do an episode on that and really give them some pointers on what is. Of course, when it comes to putting on events, it's more than a no-show. You have a very, you have a lot of good community leaders and activists and so forth. It's more to that and then putting on a festival. Back in the day when we used to do Juneteenth and so forth, Senator Maxine Horner, who actually really did kick this off, and back in the day, and it was a pleasure to work with her and book the acts and so forth and so on. I remember when it first started, I had a clothing booth, I had my band playing, and I had food booths. It was a family affair back in the day.
Yeah, well, I mean, we started that stuff back in the early 80s, well, like 70s, but it was actually, I done a whole lot of shit, seen a whole lot of shit in my life. And this day, bro, I actually shed it to tears because it was just that.
I felt real bad. I felt real bad for him. So, for it to, what Chuck Sissel did with it back in that era, man, it was, we had a ball. I mean, from naming the Gap Band Street to, you name it, we did all of that. And then for it to kind of fade away and then brought back by Gamble. And she did a good job. God rest her soul, rest in peace. And then her daughters picked it back up, and they're doing a fantastic job. But when it's all said and done, perhaps we might give them some consult on what really needs to happen. I mean, you can't do festivals of that size now without having it really secured. Security is the first thing. They need to block it all off. You can't get in without a backpack, so forth and so on. You can't have an open carry state and have an open festival.
Yeah, and
you can't do that.
It's pointing the finger at each other now. Now they're talking about, just like everything else with our Black history, they're talking about stripping the whole thing and not having Juneteenth celebration any longer.
Correct.
And
that makes a real consult, man. My peeps out here as well as others. My connection in New Orleans that actually does festivals. They secure all these festivals. It's the science to this, and it can be done. It's a little area that can be secured. It can be done. They just don't, I won't say don't have the know-how. I don't know what the problem is, but we'll get to that.
We can tag on that. Yeah, really.
Yeah. Yeah, but nevertheless, we got a prolific guest today, man. I'm just so happy. This brother had the time to stop in and share some wisdom with us.
Truly.
Most of you guys know him. If you know anything, have been searching anything about what is Kemetic spirituality, or want to know about African spirituality, this brother's name has been in that circle. He has well over 100 and plus thousand followers around the globe and so forth. He's doing a fantastic job out there. I've learned a lot from this brother. But without any further ado, Sean, let's welcome to the platform Reginald. What's up, my
Hey, my brothers, thank you. Thank you. I was looking around, Don. You was doing that introduction, man. I was like, who the hell is he talking about? Who's that dude?
About you.
Great introduction. But I appreciate it, man.
He should have been on
Hey,
TV.
man.
Yeah.
Man, for real. And he's got some skills. And, man, I was telling him that, man, I've listened to a few podcasts, but honestly, brothers, I don't listen to a lot of them. But I found y'all's guys' podcast. I could not stop listening to y'all because y'all funny as shit.
Man, ain't that crazy? I'm telling you.
But y'all have good time, but you're learning too, you know? So, man, I really enjoy listening to you guys, man. So, I mean, I've been binging on y'all, man. So I'm glad that you know, I found y'all. So I appreciate you guys and what you do.
We appreciate that,
man. We thank you for that, man. We appreciate it. We're, like I said, we're just out here, man, just trying to fill the void. You know, the prodigal movement, the global consciousness movement. Our goal is to tell transformational stories and, you know, try to change one mind at a time, and not really change your mind, just do some pointers, because we can't change any mind.
Absolutely.
So that's
100.
We're out here just trying to do, man, and following people like your lead and so forth. You give us me a lot of inspiration, man, because you're like a blind man in the dark with a flashlight, following the telos of nature, which is source. And look what you have done. Look what you have done.
I appreciate that, brother. I appreciate that. It's been some work.
Yeah, let's jump straight into it. Before the academy, before you start deconstructing and changing people's lives and coaching people around the country, who was Reginald?
Man, let's see. I was a kid that grew up in poverty. So single parent mom. Man had two brothers, two younger brothers, so I was the oldest. And man, I grew up with a drug problem. I mean, my mother drugged me to Sunday school. She drugged me to Bible class. She drugged me to Sunday morning. She drugged the hell out of me when it came to that religion. My mother there was nowhere else that she was ever on except church.
Wow.
Boy, that used to piss me off. But yeah, man, but I grew up, man, I a staunch Christian family. I mean, I had the type of family where Jesus, it was my Jesus. And if your Jesus wasn't like my Jesus, you was you had the wrong Jesus. So it got to be where at family gatherings, man, I had uncles that they would say, like, we go to Thanksgiving dinner and we get this one uncle. And my children even grew up remembering him. But he would start to say the blessing before the food. Man, his blessing was a sermon. So he was going to make sure that everybody that wasn't Christian, they was going to get a good sermon during the blessing. Brother, our stomachs was growling and everything else. And we was just like, can you get done already? Please, you know? But that was the kind of family that we had, man. And it ended up where Christianity really tore our family, our extended family apart, you know?
Oh, wow.
Because we had so many people that were into the dogmatic beliefs and had so much rigidity around what they believed that they couldn't even like come together on that. You know, we was all supposed to be Christian, but we couldn't even come together on what we believed and how we could accept each other.
How
So,
did that, unpack that a little bit. How did that look like around the table?
man, a beautiful family. I mean, we had people that were the absolute salt of the earth, man. I mean, my uncles, my aunts, man, just good people, you know, through and through. But like I said, we could all be together, you know, early in my life, up to my teenage years. But after a while, man, they just got to where we started to drifting off into our different directions, man, because, you know, once people started getting together, they couldn't get along. You know, the cookout would break out into a debate, you know, and we again talking about Christians, you know, and then there was a few of them like, well, I had another uncle that he started to getting into the more occult knowledge and stuff like that, and of course he was the black sheep of the family, you know, and they were all trying to convert him every cookout, you know, every gathering. You know, convert him back to the, you know. So,
Were y'all playing
but you know, it
dominoes?
was just
Right.
Were y'all playing
oh
dominoes
man,
and spades?
dominoes, spades, you know, you name it, man.
Oh, well, then
That's
there's
what we
where the
was doing.
spirits come from, you know, because when black folks play dominoes, especially spades, you're going to have some different spirits around.
For real. Some cheating spirits.
Yeah, that and getting to talking about folks. Yeah, you know what I'm saying? Yeah.
Exactly.
My mama
So
hate to
that
do
was
this
our
to you,
family,
but
man. Right. But I was talking all kinds of noise, you know.
yeah.
So I got to where I didn't even like to play dominoes with my uncles, man, because one, they was good as hell.
Right.
But two,
Yeah.
man, they talk so much noise, man, you'd be like, you know, man, it was traumatizing.
Yeah, it can
So
be.
I had to get out from around that domino table.
Fights and everything else.
Man.
So
But
was everybody a backslider, or were they sending everybody to hell? Either you were constantly in the faith, or you were going to hell.
well, you was either you believed my Jesus or you was going to hell, you know. And I had
But what Jesus was that? The
man,
back Jesus, the holiness Jesus. What's Jesus?
man, it was just, I don't even know if it had a name. It was just, they had a belief that their Jesus and the way they believed it was the right way. So we
That's
went
right.
to basically a non-denominational church. So all of us, you know, in a sense, we grew up in a non-denominational church. But man, it was something else. And I remember I started to really question things right around, I was about, I started questioning her, but I started asking questions to my mother at about 15 years old.
Okay.
And I remember asking the question, and I said, Mom, so somebody who's Jewish does not believe in Jesus can go to hell and they can be a good person, do good in their community and everything. They can go to hell. But a person that can be a mass murderer can, on this deathbed, say, I accept Jesus, and you're going to tell me that they're going to go to heaven? Man, she didn't even bat an eye. She was like, yep. And at that point, I was like, that messed me up, because I was like, you know, how can that be? You know, how can a good person go to hell and a person that's done bad end up going to hell? And I couldn't reconcile that. And that just started my journey away from Christianity. So by the time I went to college, probably 3 years later, 4 years later, I went to an actual Baptist college, got a basketball scholarship. And of course, I ran into Christian people who, you know, said they were Christian. Man, I decided I was atheist when I stepped onto that campus. Oh, for real.
So you wasn't at the free
But
throw line praying that it go in then, huh?
Oh, no, bro. But the thing was I got a chance to,
In the
because
name
I
of
was
the
an
devil.
athlete, I got accepted into all the circles. So I got to meet people from all different types of religion, you know, and all different types of background. One of the things that really got to me was it was never said, but it was implied that if you can be a good Christian, but you'll never be the best Christian or a better Christian than a white person, you know, in a sense. Now, they didn't say that, okay? It was never said, but it was implied. And at that point, I was like, I'll be, hell no. I'm like, I'll never accept that I'm inferior to any man. I'd rather go to hell than to have my
That
belief
part.
that you are better than me just because of the color of your skin, you know? So for the whole 4 years I was there, I was an atheist, but still longed for a spiritual connection. But I didn't have a language or anything that I could make that happen, you know, or a way
Right.
that I could speak spirituality, because Christianity, as Christians, it is one thing. Spirituality and religion is the same thing. You know, we were taught that it was synonymous, you know, so I couldn't separate it. So that's why the atheism for me made the most sense at that point, because I couldn't believe in that God. And everything about that God was spiritual and religious. So, but, you know, after a while, like, you know, I started to get, you know, study a little bit more years later. And, you know, and I started to recognize that spirituality and religion are two different things.
Okay. Mm-hmm. So what was the dating, not to date your boy, what time frame was that? What year?
This was back into the early 80s, mid 90s, or early 80s, mid 80s. So back in that time frame. So I went to college. My freshman year was 1981.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Yeah.
So back in them days, who was you guys listening to for as your spiritual guide?
Oh
church
man, who
back in
can
the
I?
80s?
There was, so back then I wasn't necessarily aware of the big guy. Well, I could say Billy Graham and
Jimmy
Oral
Swag.
Roberts, because they were the
Mhm.
guys that was on
Hmm.
TV.
Right.
You know, that was pretty much it. And I had a grandmother. She listened to Oral Roberts religiously on
Yeah,
Sundays.
back in that era, that pretty
He
much
was the
all it
king.
was.
He was the
That was
godfather.
it.
That's all it
Yep,
was. So
absolutely.
y'all
So
had
yeah, his ministry and
y'all had Jesus pictures on the doors, above the doors,
oh,
and all
brother, we had blonde hair, blue-eyed Jesus sitting at the table. You know, the
Was that
Last
table?
Supper, sitting
Mhm.
at the
You know,
last. Man, you know that everybody had that picture sitting at
I
the last table, sitting at the table on the
With
last.
Peter leaning over
That
him.
was my picture. And then my grandmother also had a picture where it was just Jesus looking at you. You know, just a big picture of blonde hair, blue-eyed Jesus. And I swear to God, those eyes followed me around the room.
there was social science project going on, man. One project going on. It's just got
Absolutely.
for you, man. So
Yeah.
you couldn't tell me.
And-
God damn.
And well, wait a minute, but the picture was
Punch me.
made out of felt. Yeah, and how them eyes still moved. You know, we had Jesus, Martin Luther King, and John F. Kennedy all on the same little picture. It came
Right.
with three of 'em.
Right. Bro. So that Jesus following me freaked me out, man. So,
Oh no!
you know,
So I say all that because it brings back memory. I mean, we grew up in that same era, so that's kind of was the mindset of what was going on in my household back in them days. You know, the Oral Roberts, you name it, whoever was on TV, whoever was preaching Jesus evangelism on TV. That's kind of who we were.
yep. And him and Billy Graham was the other one, because he'd always have those big
Yep.
conferences at stadiums and stuff like that, man. And what was the song that they'd always sing? And people coming down and accepting Jesus into their life. That was hearing Billy Graham, and that song, man. That was it.
When it happened to you. Dun, 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 dun. Ooh. Dun,
And my grandmother never missed him. So
Never.
if I was at her place, we was watching Billy Graham and Oral Roberts.
And Jimmy
Plain as-
Swaggart, Kenneth Copeland.
Those were later. So I
Yeah.
didn't even know about those. So
you didn't know about them.
Billy Graham,
You was
man.
already 8 by that time.
man,
Now,
yeah.
you said you transitioned from not once you figure out religion, spirituality. Okay, well, damn, I'm not just gonna label myself an atheist now. Now I got another pathway I can follow. So transition into what led you to studying African spirituality.
Yeah, that came years later, man. So I had studied, you know, basically comparative religion for all the way through the 90s, up until the early 2000s. And I was atheist, but I got married And because I didn't know anything else, I ended up going back to church,
Okay.
because I wanted spirituality, but I didn't know how to separate. So, but what started me on a different path, was actually the movie The Secret. So around 2006.
Okay.
And what that ended up doing was confirming ideas that I kind of already knew, but nobody had ever spoken. Nobody had put it into a language for me. And the idea that thoughts become things, man, that hit me like a ton of bricks, because I could look back over my life and see how my belief system shaped my life, from especially like through the women I was dating. That's how I could see that, the women I had decided I was dating, had decided to marry. And after I decided to marry, I kept meeting the same woman. So I was like, what is the deal here? Is either something wrong with women, or there's something else going on here. And what I ended up figuring out was the common denominator was me. So unless those women got together and conspired to treat me or do what they did, then the only common denominator between all of them, and basically a lot of times the same experience, was me. So at that point, I realized that there was something in me that was causing me to choose those type women, which was usually needy, emotionally needy. And, I had to rescue them. I was Captain Save-A-Hole.
Yeah.
Yeah, I had to be the hero, but that's how we were taught to be, But my idea is that I had no value to a woman unless I could be her emotional trash can, So The Secret basically ended up telling me, or kind of giving me a frame as to why I was meeting those same women. So from 2006 to 2009, man, I was studying metaphysics like crazy, And I ended up, I had changed careers, and I ended up becoming a school teacher. And I used principles from from The Secret to manifest my job as a school teacher.
Okay.
Well, around 2009, I had set some goals that, I wanted to make a certain amount of money, and, school teaching wasn't going to get it.
No.
And ended up, I got laid off. So I was like, what the hell is going on here? This ain't shit that I asked for. I didn't ask to get laid off. I wanted to make some more money. I want to make more than this.
Teacher.
No, bro.
Yeah.
So don't get me started.
I'm sorry, dog. Woo! I just had it.
Why you gonna go there like that, dog? Why you do that?
Sports.
No, I'm just saying. I was talking about the movie Bad Teacher.
What grade was it? Did you
I was teaching middle school, so 8th graders.
Every one of the
bad
schools that
little
got shut down.
Exactly.
I would
And
have
in
quit.
the Dallas ISD, bro.
Yeah.
In the
I
Dallas
would've quit.
ISD,
Yeah.
in Pleasant Grove. Okay, that's
Not
where I was teaching.
PG. Don't you say you was over at
Pleasant
Hood.
Grove.
You better not say you was at Hood.
Man, I was.
Well-
Yes, I was. That's exactly where I was.
Oh my!
That's exactly where I taught. So
Well, how'd you keep from getting shot?
dude, hey, man.
Shot,
I was trying to
Stan.
keep from killing some mothers in that,
Yeah.
some of those youngsters,
Yes,
man.
yes,
Man,
yes,
those boys. But yeah, you had to dodge some bullets.
yes, yes.
But yeah, so when I got there, man, it was like the ISD that year they overhired. So they ended up overhiring. So they ended up having so first or last in first. So I ended up getting laid off. Man, looking back on it now, that was the best thing that happened to me, because I actually, for the first time in my life, I collected unemployment. And at that time, the economy had dropped, because remember, real estate was real bad and everything was going crazy between 2008, 2009. Man, I was able to I ended up losing everything I owned. Ended up living in a one-room hotel. but that was the first time I actually felt like a rich man, because I could collect unemployment, and then I could basically study all day long. So my question was, how is it that I can get my prayers answered? Because I didn't have, I, I, I did everything that I thought I was supposed to do. My prayer didn't get answered. And a matter of fact, the opposite thing of what I wanted ended up happening. So I started to research what is prayer, all of that stuff. So I had to start from the drawing board. Gentlemen, I studied for 16 to 18 hours a day. And this is no joke and no exaggeration. I wake up in the morning at 4 or 5 o'clock in the morning. I study till 8 o'clock at night. I would study metaphysical stuff. I would research all kinds of stuff. And this was at the time you could get these download sites, and man, you can get all kinds of free shit. I mean, you could download this. It was the torrent sites. Man, I could download all kinds of stuff. So man, I downloaded videos. I downloaded audios. So I was studying 16 to 18 hours a day for a year and a half. That laid the foundation for everything that I teach today. That time. But by that time,
not to cut you off, it's always interesting to hear the backstory of when you came around that corner.
Yeah.
And to hear that was that first thing that brought you around that corner. Okay, but go ahead.
But yeah, and that is, so that's the thing that really, I mean, I just, enjoyed studying, always have. And then, I guess it was around 2010. 2009, I told somebody, I said, you know what? Whenever I want to get a job, teaching job, I can, And gentlemen, I put this knowledge to work, and I filled out. So once I decided, okay, this is enough, I'm going to go ahead and go back to teaching. I filled out an application for the DISD again on a Thursday. Finished it on Friday, put it in. On Monday, got an interview, and then Monday afternoon, I had a teaching job. Okay, so manifested what I needed, right then and there. Ended up, doing some speaking around the Dallas area and stuff, on metaphysics. And then one year, a friend of mine at that time had a spiritual center, and they wanted me to speak at the spiritual center one Sunday. And this was during Black History Month. Well, I didn't want to speak about, the spiritual, because one of the things I hated about Black History Month was they act like our history started in 1865. I couldn't stand that, So I was like,
Juneteenth.
So I was like, man,
I don't feel.
bro, y'all know your people were nothing else except the slaves that came out of slavery, So I was like, no, I don't want to go there. I want to go back. I want to find out what my people, my African ancestors believed before they were colonized, before Christianity. And at that point, that's when I started to look. I started to look online for stuff, and I couldn't find anything. And honestly, a lot of the people, I was actually listening to these brothers back in the 80s. I don't want to call no names, so don't try to make me do that. But these brothers I was listening to in the 80s, they were still teaching the same shit called Kemetic, in the aughts, They hadn't changed nothing. Slides, they were still using pictures from when they was 30 years old. They was now 50 and 60, So same stuff, recycled, but it wasn't spirituality. And what I recognized was they talked about spirituality. They talked about our ancestors and spirituality, but there was no how-to spirituality.
No how-to, no practice. Okay.
What it was, nothing to practice, no application, no nothing. And that pissed me off, and I was like, where is the people that's teaching this stuff, the how-to and stuff like this. By this time I started to find some books. There was some pretty obscure books, and a lot of those I share on my YouTube channel. I just gave the people my those books and put them in the videos. Here it is. y'all can check my shit and see if I'm lying or not. You know, that was the idea, you know, check it out. And, but I started finding out a lot of stuff. And because I had been trained as a teacher, I could recognize stuff I could recognize concepts, you know.
Gotcha.
So one area in Christianity, I could recognize the commonality between the concepts of Christianity and the concepts of ancient African spirituality. So I was like, something's going on here, you know, like what's happening? And I ended up finding out basically African spirituality was the same source for the law of attraction stuff. So all of the stuff I had been studying, and it answered all the questions about my childhood religion and things that I believed but found out wasn't true. So that's the long story of how I ended up getting to the Kemetic stuff. And ever since then, it's really been developing those ideas and really helping people to understand it, just really speak it to where it's not this woo-woo frou-frou stuff. It's actually, how do I use this shit to change my life? And that's the angle that I've always come from. And that's what my stuff does. So I know that I've had people come through my programs, my coaching programs, stuff like that. Their lives change. And I have enough data to know that what I teach works. And a lot of it, gentlemen, it's just common sense. Common sense backed up by ancient African spirituality, ancient Kemetic spirituality, and the metaphysics and all of that. How do you bring that all together? And that's basically what my stuff is. What I've done with what I do is I brought it all together and put it into a coherent system.
And I said a coherent system, man. And I just commend you off the bat because you created an academy. You actually created a curriculum, an academy, where anyone that has a desire or seeking African spirituality, it's there. There's a course. There's no other course out there but your course.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
There's no other academy out there but your academy. There's a plethora of information and other scholarships, and then a lot of recycled stuff of some of the old masters and so forth that are, have went before you. But right now, your stuff is, hey, I commend you on it.
I appreciate that, brother.
Yeah. Now, give us some, for the layman purpose people here, that, man, what is African spirituality, man? I hear talk about horrors and hooroo and rock and how that connects and how is that, how did they steal that from Christianity, steal that from him and Tefanu and Glard, all this, who's this stuff? For the layman people, tie that in.
So and that's who I want to talk to. I want people to understand that, first of all, Christianity is distorted Kemetic and African spirituality. Christianity, Islam, even Judaism to a certain extent is not as distorted. But I like to say what's new about Christianity is what's new in Christianity is not true, and what is true is not new. So when we're talking about these ideas, first of all, the way that you can connect these ideas is you have to look at it from a different frame in order to connect the African spirituality to what's in the Bible. Because the foundation of everything in the Bible, Old Testament and New Testament, is from ancient Egypt. And people who say that it's not from ancient Egypt, they just have not studied that knowledge base. That's all it is. They're ignorant of that knowledge base. And when I say ignorant, I mean they're not knowing. Okay?
Right.
Because there is no way in that you can look at this stuff and understand it from an esoteric perspective and not see the connections. And I want to prove that to you guys today and have you even look at some Bible scriptures, and I can show you beyond a shadow of a doubt that it is ancient Kemetic and Egyptian spirituality. So the way that you have to look at this is to understand how to make the connections is that a lot of people only look at the Bible from a literal perspective. And I debated this brother a few months ago. And basically the only reason I even did the debate, because otherwise I ain't trying to change people's mind. But I wanted to do this for the people that follow, and I wanted to prove a point. And my point was that the Jesus Christ of the Bible never existed. And if you remove the Bible, you cannot find Jesus in history.
Hold on.
I heard this shit before.
Let Sean breathe a little bit. Okay.
Yeah. I mean, because we don't want from five Jesuses to
Jesus
there
never
was
existed.
two Jesus
Now we're gonna let
to
his brother
no
go.
Jesus. Okay. So
I'm telling you, this
so
but
there
let me-
ain't
let
no
me
Jesus
finish-
on the
let
main
me
line.
finish.
Ain't no Jesus on the main
Hang on,
line.
let me say this. I do not believe in Jesus,
Oh,
but Christ is a part of my life every single day.
okay. Break that
So
one down,
Jesus
please.
Christ in the Bible
Right.
does not exist. But the
Okay.
idea of Jesus and Christ, those are two ancient concepts that were fused by Christianity.
Okay. Got that.
So we have to look at the one, and the way that you know this is people want to look at the story and try to match stories and say, well, no, this story ain't the same. They think that the story and the mythology is the message. That's the wrong way to look at it.
Correct.
There is a deeper layer that the ancient mythology was telling them. You see, we think ancient mythology means stories and entertainment. But in ancient Kemetic mythology, it was actually spiritual science. And what I mean by science is that you can observe, experiment, and test. You are the subject
matter.
You are the subject matter, and you are the experiment, and your life is the experiment. We are here on earth, on the earth plane, as souls having a human experience. We are gods and goddesses in training. We are seeds of the infinite expressing itself as human beings. That would be the ancient message that was being taught before we had it switched. Okay? So the story that became Jesus Christ was actually teaching knowledge about us as souls having a human experience. Okay?
Wow. Break naked.
Lord, please don't do it today. So
Listen to me, Sean. So I'm gonna bring it because this is the deal. And brother, I've been studying this shit for 20, 30 years, so I know what I'm talking about. I don't even put it up on my website or my YouTube channel unless I can back my shit up.
like I'm gonna get a whooping. My mama gonna whoop my ass.
I'm sorry, man. I didn't mean to put you in harm's way.
I get a big
Now, this is the thing. So we can follow the evolution of the idea of Jesus Christ from ancient Kemet through the Greek Gnostics into the early Christian fathers. That's how you can follow it. Okay. People will say, well, there's no evidence of the Bible or anybody, there's no original Bible or anything like that. No, there ain't. But the original knowledge does exist, and it exists on the walls of ancient Kemet. So, but the Greeks, what they ended up doing, we got the Gospels out of a break in ancient tradition, the ancient mystery school traditions, because in ancient Africa, they didn't write this knowledge down. And a lot of people want to look at that to say, well, they didn't have a writing system. No, they had the Medu Neter.
Right.
And the Medu Neter means words of God.
Mm.
So the Medu Neter actually is the symbolic system. It was actually a lingua franca of ancient Africa. So in other words, African tribes from all over Africa could actually read the Medu Neter, okay? Because they knew it from a symbolic perspective. All right? The idea of Jesus in ancient Kemet was known as Yeusa. Yehu the Sa. That means, in the ancient Egyptian, that means the ever-coming Son of God. Now, the Son was a play on words because Yehu the Sa was actually the light of God, the intellect and the will of God descending into matter.
Okay.
Y'all follow me?
Yeah.
Okay. So the idea, this idea was spread all over the Mediterranean for centuries. Plato actually distilled the idea into the Platonic theosophy that ended up becoming a part of the Bible and what we know as the story of Jesus Christ, his birth and resurrection. But in reality, these ideas were about us. So Jesus in ancient Kemet, the idea that was Jesus was actually about the light and will of God incarnating. That was us. Each one of us has a spark of that light within us. How they represented the physical person on earth, they called it the underworld. That was Osiris. Osiris is the idea of a person that has incarnated into the underworld, because the heavens where the soul was, that's the above, the underworld is below. We're all Osiris. Osiris was not aware of itself as a soul, but the idea was that light is supposed to help you along the way discover or rediscover who you are as a soul having a human experience. Okay. So the light of that became known as Jesus came from the idea of Yehu the Sa, which we know one word connected to that is Yeshua.
Mm-hmm. Is that where we get the way?
Joshua.
Mm-hmm.
The way comes from the word Heru.
Okay.
I am the way, the truth, and the light.
Yes.
Okay. So that was all in Kemet before it became Christianity. So let's take this. What Christianity ended up doing was they usurped these ideas, and they ended up, because the knowledge was to teach us about our inner journey. Our journey as human beings on this plane of existence. How do we reconcile really our fears and our doubts and all of that stuff? How do we reconcile that as we're moving through our life? How do we gain wisdom? How do we gain the light of wisdom as we move through our lives? That's what this knowledge was originally about. Christianity flipped it. And the way that they flipped it was to historicize it. And they pulled Jesus from within us, that spark, as something that we are to recognize and develop, to something that we are to worship.
Now, the Christians, would those be the white folks?
No, bro, they ain't got nothing to do with race.
Oh, okay. Well,
humanity. It's humanity.
Okay.
I'm talking about humanity.
So the Gnostics knew what was happening.
Somewhat. They knew
Somewhat.
that Jesus was not a historical person. So they taught, and you can trace this. I can give you a book to trace this idea called the Pistis Sophia. So that is a direct connection from the idea of Yehusa to the biblical idea of Jesus. The Pistis Sophia, okay? The letter of knowledge, the letter of wisdom, okay, is what it's called. But that's how you can connect. That's one connection that you can make. But they knew that was about a metaphorical idea that was really the mythology was about actual formulas for consciousness, to frame our consciousness, to help us to understand how the most common things that we go through. And I like to say that our deepest, most intimate fears and secrets are paradoxically the most universal. So you can see this story of the light becoming aware of itself in ancient Kemet long before it became Jesus Christ in Christianity. Okay, and the idea that we were supposed to worship this, we were supposed to believe, and by proxy, Jesus was going to heal us, cure us, and all of that, just simply because we believe. In ancient spirituality, that shit took work. And you know it by living your life. You know that shit takes work too. There is no way that you're going to become at peace with your life and the thing that you're going through until you reconcile that stuff within you. I don't give a damn what you believe. Until you reconcile.
Save me, Lord. And
you can't
put all your burdens.
Put all your burdens. How many times have we tried?
Burdens on you and say, Lord, I believe that you died, you went to heaven, and you saved me, and I cast everything on you, and that's all I got to do now is just wait till I die, and then I'm gonna come be with you. I can't just do that no more.
Afraid not, bro. Afraid not. You can't do that. It takes some work. It takes some inner work, and we know that.
Well, that's what the man told us.
What about us heathens over here who we can live our life?
So you mean they tricked us? Where did the tricking part come in at?
Here's the tricking part.
I know what the Gnostics and all the other sects was doing, but then when you got this, what's them niggas' name over there?
They tricked us when they gave us a free boat ride.
Where did this thing twist at?
This is where it twisted. Okay.
All right.
So and this is also a shift that will actually empower us rather than disempower like we had. Okay.
Okay.
The idea is that we had to have the confluence of two ideas come together in order to create the religion. One was the idea that we're all born sinners, that we dropped into earth because we were cursed, the fallen angel, all of that stuff.
Okay.
But once we were dropped into earth, that light was dropped into earth, and we were all born sinners, what do we need? But damn, let's see, if everybody's a born sinner, we got to have somebody that can save their ass.
Some balance.
Got to have some balance, some kind of way. So we need to create this savior that can pull them out of their sinful ways. You heard of the idea of total depravity, where everybody's born wicked and we cannot follow the ways of Jesus on our own. We need to believe. So all just tied together. So they created a fucking disease and then created a cure, supposedly. And the cure was that I believe in the death and resurrection of Jesus Christ. All you got to do is just believe. and you are saved. But in practice,
That's
does that work?
That's so. Wait,
No.
I got a question. So now, who was the committee that sit back and said, when they said, well, we got to find a savior, we got to find somebody to come in. So,
I'm just using a little
Right,
alliteration and license here,
Well,
bro. I'm just telling the story.
Just imagine if they sitting around
Uh-huh.
and they put in some ballots and say, okay, we gonna pick this guy right here. This is Jesus. He gonna be the one. Now, do you think Jesus knew that he was gonna be the one that's gonna have to be the sacrifice for everything and everybody? He gonna have to die for everything and everybody to make everybody who believed that he lived and
How does it sound when you're saying that?
have eternal life.
How-
I'm just saying. Well, I'm just saying.
That's just
If,
saying views.
if it was me, I'm just saying. If it was me,
was no-
I'd been like, no, nigga, fuck y'all. I ain't get ready to do this shit. I ain't get ready to. Hell no, Daddy.
Hell
I'm sorry.
no.
I can't. No, Daddy. I'm sorry. I don't even
can't
know
do
this
this.
nigga right here. This dude
I'm
here.
not gonna be able to do it.
No, there's too much shit going on out here. And I ain't even had none yet. and I'm
I'm like,
33.
ain't that it? What now? Now you know we know none of this shit's real. You just thinking this shit up. But you didn't tell me about it.
Wait a minute. I'm 33 and I ain't had none yet.
I ain't
No.
Only thing I told them is the kingdom is God within me. And I tried to explain it the best way I could to make them know that we're the same. We're all one.
And evidence
Now,
was told
why
him
they
that.
done work? I don't know why the listen to Apostle Paul, that arrogant motherfucker.
Gay.
I don't even know what listen to Apostle Paul. He just got his own shit going on. I never met that motherfucker.
Just making up stuff. And then he like,
LBGTQUSD.
Click on my
Wow.
name.
Gay.
okay. So this is the thing, is that even just saying that, Sean, it
Mhm.
don't even make sense just speaking it out.
Well, damn, I
It's
thought
not
it
even
sounded good in
logical.
my head. That sounded good. It sounded good.
That's good.
So it sounded
Right.
good that God
It's
I'm gonna
until
sing
they
my-
got to the part and said, what if I am? Shit, no. He do it.
It don't
I can't
even
volunteer for
sound
bro.
logical. Right. So
No, and I'll tell you, this
this
dude here,
point-
he good. He good, man. I'm telling you, he good.
Oh, the what?
I'm saying that man good. Yeah.
I'm still gonna bring you some proof that this all comes from Egypt. So this
Oh,
Oh,
okay.
is your breath?
Well, come on then.
so and we're gonna use the Bible.
Oh,
Because this is one thing. I know that we are not going to reach our people without being able to go through the Bible first. And I know that there are ministers that know this stuff that I'm talking about, and these brothers and sisters are struggling. They've deconverted in their mind and their heart, but their job is tied to their beliefs. Their whole
Bingo.
livelihood, their family's well-being
so they
is tied
check.
to preaching every Sunday what they
Correct.
believe. Now, I'm not going to sit here and talk bad about somebody who's got to feed their family any way that they can, because, brother, I done been there.
Real shit.
But what I'm talking here and what I'm explaining, this can help these brothers and sisters actually teach a more empowering message and do it in a way that it doesn't alarm their congregation. Because if you say, I've dealt with ministers who started trying to teach these ideas and they ended up losing their congregation because they just didn't want to do the lie anymore. And there are many brothers and sisters that are out there right now doing the same thing. They don't want to keep preaching what they know is not real. Okay? So this is what I am doing. This is a lifeline. And it's the truth is more powerful and empowering than the lie.
Mm-hmm.
Plain and
Okay.
simple.
Instead of teaching these ideas where somebody outside of you is going to save you, the ancient Kemetic spirituality and ancient African spirituality, and understand Kemet is a mouthpiece for African spirituality. These ideas that I'm talking about from Kemet were all over Africa. These concepts, these spiritual concepts, not religious. Religious is man-made. Religion is about an external locus of control. You need validation and acceptance from something outside yourself in order to be okay. And we know people are living in conflict and pain trying to do that every single day. But they don't know any different because there are so many people living that way that they think that shit is normal.
Mm. Now that's crazy.
There are so many people living that way in conflict. People are told, oh, the conflict, oh, that's because you can't know the ways of God. You're confused because you really can't understand what God is doing. That decouples you from your own inner spiritual knowledge. That kind of stuff is complete bullshit. You are the creator experiencing itself as a human being. This is what Christianity has done. The way the ancients believed this and the way that they would teach this, and I'm updating the language, okay? And I'm updating the concepts because they didn't have all of this language that we have, the same words today. They didn't have all of that back then, okay? But people translated what they did. But the ancients would say that if God was an ocean, if the idea of God was an ocean, we are all drops within that ocean. And we are the ocean in a drop. How can a drop be different from the ocean? Because that's what Christianity says. We're somehow different than God because we were born wicked and sinful. We're different than God. But the ancient Kemetic spirituality says we are divine. And we are here to start to remember that we are divine. Okay? That's what the journey is here, to remember that. When we descended into the physical world, that was the actual crucifixion. Follow, help me to. If I'm going way out base and you don't get it,
No, we get it. We get it.
Okay.
We get it. We get it. Our audience is
Yeah.
if
So
they listen, you can
so
They clicking the like button.
So in the ancient Kemetic system, the cross is actually the four metaphorical elements needed for something to cross from metaphysical into the physical, because the metaphysical world is the real world. That's the real us, where we are souls in the real world. Christianity says we have a soul. Brother, we are a soul.
Mm-hmm.
This is another way to think about this. We are in the field, the energetic field as a physical body. We are inside the energetic field of the soul. The soul is not in us.
body.
The body is an extension into the physical world, okay, that the soul has projected here for experience. The way that happens is that the cross happens, and that's how you can cross over from the metaphysical world into the physical. At the moment you cross over, you forget, because that's just part of the game. You forget that you are a soul. The idea of forgetting, that is the esoteric terminology that meant. That's what the death at crucifixion meant, that the soul actually crossed over into the physical world and forgot who it was, forgot its omnipotent awareness, okay? Now, let me give you a way to check this, okay? A natural way. The ancient Egyptians and Kemetic people actually use nature. We are an aspect of nature. We are an extension of nature. So, Sean, tell me, what happens when the sun goes down in the west? Just a natural thing.
It gets dark. It gets cool.
It gets dark.
Okay.
It gets dark. That's the ancients used the sun as a metaphor and the seasons as a metaphor for our journey in human life. So when the sun sets in the west, they didn't believe in dying. They didn't believe in death. They called it westing. When the sun sets in the west, it leaves the metaphysical world and descends into the physical world, the world of darkness and the underworld, from the above to the below, from the underworld into the physical world. That's when we incarnate. We go, the sun makes us traverse, and really again, mirroring life, the sun makes us traverse until it resurrects and remembers what it is. Okay, at the vernal equinox. Okay, so we at the autumn equinox, it descends and it goes below the horizon. The soul forgets, the sun forgets. The lowest point of its journey is at the winter solstice. When does the winter solstice happen? What season do we celebrate there?
Winter.
No, I'm sorry. What holiday do we
Christmas.
celebrate at the winter solstice?
Christmas.
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 It's the birth of baby Jesus. Now, let me tell you again, I'm going to connect this back to nature, my brothers.
Okay?
So at December the 22nd, 21st, 22nd, okay, the sun freezes every day at noon for 3 days. And it doesn't rise any higher for 3 whole days. So from the 22nd to the 25th. At the 20th, it goes up 1 degree higher at noontime. That is when the sun is born from the dark night. The I and the J. Let me take this to linguistics here. That's etymology. I and J, and Y are interchangeable linguistically from ancient languages. There was no name Jesus back in 5,000 years ago. It was Yeshua. So, but the I was around. There was Yehusa, and it's pronounced Yehusa. Yay, the I was pronounced like a Y. But do you know how the J came into being?
How?
Where did
It wasn't from jaywalking.
No, it wasn't from jaywalking.
Oh, okay.
So in the 1500s, a monk decided to use the I and embellish it and make a little symbol, a little hook to make the J. So it's descending into matter. That is punches through matter.
And
Y'all
the
ever
hook
seen a
brings
steeple
you
on a
out.
church?
Boy.
Y'all ever seen a steeple on a church?
Yeah.
Y'all know what the steeple means?
We coming up out of there.
Erection.
Erection.
So the means an erection. It can double for an erection. Who did Jesus say he could? What did Jesus say? I can build my church on this what?
Rock.
On this rocky rock.
Okay, this rocky rock. Fellas, do you know what the rock is?
Not crap.
No, not crack rock.
What's the rock?
If you get excited, what happens to your manhood?
Rock
This is
hard.
what God did. He said,
It gets
You're rock hard.
hard as a rock. Okay? Well, I'm just giving you some symbolism here, fellas. Okay, to connect the dots.
I feel like I just lost my job. Nothing
Try to do that to you, though.
If you,
Okay. But now, let's go back to the...
okay.
So that I is embellished, and it is the first
This
turn.
nigga better not say
towards
it's
the
the
light.
ejaculation coming out of this motherfucker. He better
No,
not
no,
say
no,
that.
no. That was in the beginning when Yehusa was born.
Oh,
That was when our tomb had to masturbate and he spat out Yehusa. Okay. I didn't tell you that part. Okay. All right. But the J is when the light starts to turn back and begins to recognize itself. It is the first birth of consciousness, our consciousness, that starts to recognize after the dark night, after we've been through our difficulties, that, whoa, wait a minute. Maybe there's something to me, more to me than this light. So the J starts back, okay? The sun keeps moving until the vernal equinox, okay? And I'm just connecting the journey of the soul to the sun and light, okay? So the vernal equinox is when the sun crosses back over into the metaphysical world. It is resurrected.
Resurrected.
Re-erected.
In other words, I can come twice.
Dude, if you want to.
So the little dot on top of the
work
J.
on the resurrection.
So the dot on top of the J, that was to symbolize the each individual. It is saying that dot represents me.
No, the dot is just, I don't know why they put the dot on the J. Honestly, I can't tell you that.
That was
so I don't know.
Oh, okay.
That was wasted.
But it came
cosmos.
from the eye, so
What? He was just
Right,
wasting
right.
cosmos.
Well, you got to understand too, back in the day, they didn't have dot, because if you remember, even the Roman numerals, it was the I and the number 10 and the number 1 and the number and the I was the same thing. Okay, so they didn't have a dot. So Roman numerals, you got to talk about the Roman numerals, I and 1 are the same. Okay, so they didn't have that. That came later. All right. What season does the resurrection happen in? What holiday?
Christmas.
Easter.
Easter.
Bunny.
Yes.
Don didn't
Easter
go to a
time.
Christian school.
I told you.
He had to
Now,
listen to his
Let me
daddy.
tell you where Christianity, where they jacked this up, because they took this out of the natural progression of the sun. The sun, S-U-N and the S-O-N.
Right.
Christianity tells you that the crucifixion happened, and then 3 days later, he rose from the dead.
Right.
Okay.
But that's not the natural progression of the sun.
Right.
The natural progression of the sun, it happened at the autumn equinox. Okay. Do you know how many days there are between Easter? I'm not sorry, the autumn equinox and Halloween?
I don't.
So
365.
no, from September 22nd
No.
to October 31st. How many days is that? I'll bet you do.
60.
Well, there's a number in it. There, you're close. You're close. Come down a little bit, because there's a number that we all know about in the Bible that Moses wandered around in the desert. 40 days. 40 is not an arbitrary number.
Okay.
So there are 40 days from when the 40 days from the vernal equinox, the autumn equinox, to Halloween, or Hallow Eve. If you're Catholic, It was the celebration of the saints that have now been recognized as souls, or they went to a higher plane. Hallow Eve, okay? 40 days.
Okay.
Anybody heard this scripture? I must decrease as he increases.
That's your
Okay.
Bible.
Who's
Me.
yep, you? No. I'm saying, who said that? Who's that scripture attributed to?
I forgot.
I must decrease as he increases.
Great.
John,
I must decrease
Peter
for increase.
Peter for
it was
200.
John.
John.
So John the Baptist. John the Baptist. Now, understand that the baptism was when the soul crosses into the physical body that is 70% water.
Right.
That's the baptism. John the Baptist, as in that 40-day period, it is actually when the soul is preparing and getting used to being in the physical world, in the mother's womb. So there are 40 days between that, in that gestation period. Okay? I'm just bringing some science to it, brothers. To help you understand it, the way this is not arbitrary. So when I say I know what I'm talking about, this is not arbitrary shit I'm making up. You're going to be able to connect it logically, okay? Scientifically. Okay? That's the way it's supposed to work. That aha moment. Guess
Okay.
what the aha moment, guess what Jesus represents? Repeat what you just said, Sean.
Uh-huh.
The aha moment. The moment that the light comes on. The
Christ.
moment you go, oh shit, I get it now. That instant is when the light comes on and lights up you from within. And now you get it to where you can gain wisdom
Man, I can
from
run
your
and go
human
share.
experience.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So that's the story of the crucifixion and the resurrection in the real story, the original story. It's about our journey as we go through life. Has anybody here ever had a dark night of the soul? Have you ever just been through some shit where you was just like, man, I just don't know if I'm going to make it out of this?
I did.
It's a natural, normal thing that many of us have.
Yeah.
That's what the angels were basically telling us. This is a formula for, this is what happens. But even though you go to the dark night, which is at the lowest point, is at the winter solstice, at some point, you start back up.
Back up.
And when you get to when you really gain your full wisdom, you have resurrected or remembered who you are as a soul. You remember your power. That is the resurrection. That's the story of us. That's where that idea comes from. Now, when you're going through that dark night, you were just saying earlier, can I believe just to believe in Jesus and just get through this? Can I sick Jesus on somebody? I had an aunt used to want to sick Jesus on me. Can I sick Jesus and fix that mofo? It don't work like that.
No, it don't. Actually, I took Jesus in. I took him by the hand. I took him by the hand, and we went in. We both went in the dark night of the soul, and he said, dude, you doing no more than I had to do. I had to come to myself in the palaces of my mind and understand that there's only one thing happening. You know, you got God. He's just, he really have DID. You know, we are just we're just altars. Let me give you some backstory. My favorite metaphor, bruh, is only one thing happening. I really
appreciate how you break it down, the spiritual African spirituality portion of it. I'm kind of, if I want to be like more the evangelist, I'm going to go straight to essence. You have the African spirituality, you got Buddhism, you got all these systems that all point to the same thing.
Same thing, same story.
Same story, different, depending on their origin story may be different,
Yes.
but they're pointing at the same thing. At the end of the day, linguistically speaking, you're going to end up at the same thing. You're going to have a different story, different way, different point of how you got there, but it's the same thing because everything is a fractal of the whole. But that fractal is going to only shine from that point of view. It's only a point of view. I'm a point of view. You a point of view. Sean is a point of view. So our point of view is only going to be a subjective point of view of the whole.
Yes.
A subjective point of view. So my experience is only from what I was at birth, from what my parents taught me, from what was instilled in me, so forth and so on. That's my point of view of what is. Now, since we're all one, is God playing chess on different timelines, enfolding on himself to keep this going because there's only one thing happening. So, no, there's no death. There's only spirit doing what it's want to do. We are fields, however you want to say it, because anything that is objectified, we really can't even talk about because it's not us. We're the source, we're the witness, and we're the object. We're everything all at once.
All of it at once.
Now, in African spirituality, you are explaining that's Pata, and this is doing that, and that, and that, and that, and this is the same thing. If you go over to Buddhism, they'll explain it this way. If you go over here, they'll explain it this way.
It's going to be the same
thing.
story. And get this. This is what gets me, because what you're talking about here as well is what we can trace this back to Platonic theosophy. But Plato got it from Egypt. But the same story is being told of the immersion, the fragmentation, and then at some point the remembrance.
Okay? Remember.
The idea of Jesus and the 12 disciples. The 12 disciples, but the 12 disciples are 12 aspects of us on our journey as we're going through life. We go through different points. Judas was the saboteur. Do we have a saboteur within us? So the idea of the temptation of Christ. Christ basically means that you have at some point through your life experience gained wisdom from your experience. That's the idea of the KRST. That's 10,000 years before we ever had the idea of Jesus Christ. You're going to find that same concept in Buddhism, Hinduism. You're going to find it in all other spiritual systems. Same concept.
Same concept.
But there's only one that's a literal historical person. And we're told that's because it's something special. What is new is not true. What is true is not new. The new idea was that the idea of Christ was a body, a physical manifestation of something. Nobody taught that before Christianity. Nobody. They changed that. But the thing that is going to be most empowering is when you do remove your consciousness from that external locus of control and come back to your internal locus of control, recognizing that you are the creator of your reality and you can create your life. And the way that you want to do that is by following your joy. Every day that you're not following your joy, that is some work that you have to do in some kind of way, shape, or form. I know that from experience, not theory. I know that when I have been through my dark night, and me, I'm a hard-headed ass Scorpio. So I'm going to do my thing until I get my ass whooped. And then I'll be like, okay, I'll give up. I'll relent. So I've went through these times where emotionally I've been down in depression. But I knew Jesus wasn't coming to save my ass. The only way that I was going to come out of that depression was I had to figure out a way out of that. And what I did, and this is something that I teach, what I did was I wanted to feel better. I wanted to get out of my depression. And what I did was to find one thing that I could do in the moment that would make me feel better from within. Gentlemen, I love studying. I love, finding out information and stuff and sharing that shit. That's just something that lights me up. That's one thing that I did, is that I just started studying and I'd be like, oh man, this is interesting. This is, wow. I started for one moment and then I forget that I was depressed and I'm enjoying myself so much. 2 hours have passed. I'm just enjoying doing what I'm doing. I'm just enjoying being a researcher, just being in now.
Being in the now.
I moved out of my depression. Then I was like, man, somebody else might want to know this, I might as well create a video about it.
Wow.
I have fun creating a video. Before I know it, 4 or 5 more hours have passed. I'm no longer in depression. I am in joy.
The moment,
In that moment, enjoying myself. So I let joy, that energy, that feeling, be my guide through that dark night. My joy lifted me out. That was a Christ moment for me. I gained wisdom to where I understood that if I'm ever feeling that way again, that I need to find something that brings me joy to move me out of that depressive space. No pills, no waiting on a savior. It was me internally knowing what I needed to do to rescue me. That is an aspect of becoming the Christ.
Well, that's deep. I feel like I have been in Sunday school today. I don't know what I may have missed. When when we go to Sunday school as kids, we be in there playing and not listening and all that good stuff. But I thank you for this lesson today, brother. It has been enlightening and eye-awakening. And in the form of a J, I get it.
He could. No.
No, I was going to say, unless y'all just got to go.
Oh no, we're not ending. You just come here.
Oh, okay. I thought we were ending. All right.
No. But one thing as a takeaway for definitely for sure is from how Christians live their life and how African spirituality, the both essence, it taking, instead of going without, you need to go within.
Yes.
You don't go out without you don't need a savior outside yourself. You have to go within. That's what the African taught us.
You are the God that is experiencing this life, and you have control over it.
And you have control over it. So once you understand that and get that understanding, then life is beautiful, because most Christians are scared of dying and they're scared of going to hell.
They are afraid to live and scared to die.
And scared to die. And some will live in limbo their whole life because they're even too scared to consider or even think about studying something outside of that Bible or what they've been taught in the hopes of just in case. And it really breaks my heart in 2025 for people to live their life just in case, when they're
Right.
basing it on it
Hedging their
may
bet.
be hell, and I may miss heaven because mama might be in heaven.
And they don't even understand. If you go back again, where did Jesus say that that heaven was? In Luke chapter 17, verse 20 and 21.
Mhm.
The scripture says, you cannot point to it. You cannot say, lo, here, go there. The kingdom of heaven is within. Heaven is your joyous state. It becomes something, it becomes a practical application, something that you can live with, not a reward for when you die.
Not a place.
Not a place. Never
Not a
was.
place. Heaven is a state. And
It is a state of being.
It's a state of being. So you can create your own reality, and you do that simply by what you've been saying, bro.
Absolutely.
Once you don't need no outside source, and you know you are the source, then it's incumbent on you now to reimagine your life.
Yes.
Of just being happy, doing something that makes you happy, following the telos of your life, for your life, and then sharing that with others. And that's what we inspire to do here, man, with this global conscious community, is really fill that void, because there's a lot of people deconstructing,
Yes.
but they don't have any void. There's a void to fill. They feel, okay, well, what's next?
Exactly.
Okay,
and they stay in limbo.
so what do I do now?
Yep.
So we're just trying to show them, you create that path. You do whatever you need to do, whatever you want to do.
Well, see, Don, that's what my courses do, is they answer that question, what's next. I give you a path that can work for you. I'm not telling you what to believe. I'm not telling you how to believe. I'm saying, hey, this is how this works. Do it and watch and see what happens. And I have had too many people, thousands, that have come through my videos, my courses, that absolutely positively changed their life. And sometimes they do that shit overnight.
Let's
Not
talk
that
about
things change, but that their mindset changes and they start to look at life from a whole different, empowered perspective.
Okay. So for the listeners that's out there, you do have the academy. You have several different systems and modalities. Let's talk about each of those. What's the price point, where they can find them, and those things.
Yeah. So the easiest way nowadays is to find me on my Substack. So you can go to Substack, reginald-substack.com, reginald.substack.com. Okay. And you can find me there. And I'm writing articles. I do a few videos here and there. So I'm doing that. You can go to if you want to take a course, a class. I have a number of classes that I'm actually teaching you metaphysics and the practical application of it. But you can go to comedic-centered-living.com.
Okay. Got that? Comedics. Say that again.
Comedic-centered-living.com.
All right. Okay.
And so I have a number of classes, courses. I've written a book. I have that on Amazon, but you can access that from.
You have a book. You got books.
I got a number of books.
You got books.
Well, my latest book is the Egyptian origins of Jesus. Okay, so cracking the Christ code, the ancient Egyptian origins of Jesus. Okay, and it's about helping people to literally flip from having that external locus of control to coming back within and accessing who you are from within and discovering who you are. So that's my whole way of doing things. So, but I've also created for people that want to gain and learn this knowledge, I've also created a business system behind it. and I framed it like nobody else has ever done, and I put it together in a way that
Like
a
the
person learns.
certification course.
This is a certification, so the
Correct.
metaphysics,
First in the nation.
the metaphysics certification, master certification program, and that is basically you get access to all of my content, so you don't have to start from zero. You get access to all of my content. I license that to you. And then you can use, then I also give you a system and frameworks that you can start coaching from if you want to coach. So all of this, so I put all of that together in those different ways. So there's just, like I said, it's 3 levels. So from the Substack to the courses, and then people who might want to coach, I give you a track to run on. And not only do I give you a track to run on, I give you a whole entire business system, basically a business in a box. This is what I do.
How long
give
is
you
the
content,
course?
courses, frameworks. What's now?
How long is the courses? How long does it take?
It depends. There's one course, my African spirituality, African mind rewire. I mean that might take you, I don't know, a couple of hours to go through. And then I have man, now I can't even remember the name of my course. I forgot it so long that I did this, but that course is the soul level operating system, and that course it might be about 5 hours worth of content, but it's not the amount of time. It is the transformation that you get from the information. I don't get lost in how many hours is this, because you can spend a lifetime going through Christianity and your life never changes.
Okay. So through the
But you can
courses,
spend 5 hours in my course and your life, you're going to have the ability to change your own damn life.
right. Well, in your courses, it's it's not a one-on-one. It's you license the information to them,
Self-paced.
and they go through it.
No,
right. Okay.
No, the course, you can take the course, it's self-paced. So you don't
Gotcha.
need me there or nothing.
Gotcha.
It's all self-contained, self-paced.
So
Now,
if I have a question
the-
in this, how do I get a question answered?
Now, if you want to go through my coaching program, that's different.
Oh,
So that's a different. My time is valuable for me.
I got you.
So, but the course is self-paced. You take that and it's self-explanatory. So you don't need to necessarily ask me. But I'm going to take a person who is deconstructing and all the stuff that I've just been talking about. I'm going to take you through that step by step and show you the logical, the intuitive, the science, all of behind. I could connect all of that, and I can promise you, there ain't shit on the planet that can do it like I do.
I believe that it's one of the first
I see that
out there. It's one of the first out there. It's very detailed, and man, by you being a teacher, a mystic,
All those skills together,
an alchemist, you got all those skills and entwine into one, and to be able to put something like this. And like I said, you know how to manifest, man. You started from scratch.
Absolutely. And all this stuff is being taught from practical application and life experience. I don't give you theoretical shit, journal or do some meditations, and that's cool stuff. But when your life is crashing down around you, you need something, and that's what I need. I need something that I can do to rescue my ass. Plain as, okay. Now, I told you I was going to prove something. Jesus ain't coming to save your ass.
Okay.
I can guarantee you, the Jesus Christ in the Bible, if you take away the Bible, you cannot prove that a Jesus Christ ever existed. And I debated a dude on this, a Christian, and I told him, you can't prove your I whooped his ass in the debate. Because all you're going to have is hear stuff from people that's talking about something from 200, 300 years ago. They're having to backdate everything to prove the story. That's what ends up happening.
Correct.
But that's beside the point. Okay. I'm just saying you have to empower you. And as a people, it's incumbent upon us to empower ourselves.
I agree.
But I said I was going to show you how ancient Egypt is connected in the Bible.
Okay.
Give you something. So I talked to you about we got to look at this from a symbolic perspective, from an esoteric perspective. Are y'all familiar at all with any of the Egyptian letters, like Isis and Nephthys?
I don't have a mastery in it. I have a familiarity. I can follow you, but I don't have.
Okay, and that's all I'm asking. That's all I'm asking. So if you look at the Egyptian letters, they are symbolic. They symbolically represent an idea. The feminine letters actually represent whether we're male or female. It's not about gender. It's about function. Okay. So feminine letters represent our inner attitudes, our emotions, our imagination, our intuition. So in the Bible, when you see these characters, there's one story of Isaac, Jacob, and Esau. Y'all heard that story? Okay.
I know them.
All right. So this is going also to the law of attraction stuff. Okay. So the story of Isaac, Jacob, and Esau. We know that Jacob was instructed by someone. Do y'all remember who Jacob was instructed by?
No.
His mother.
No.
The mother's name was Rebecca. Okay. So Rebecca instructed Esau on how to basically go to Isaac and make Isaac believe that Jacob was Esau. Okay? So Jacob in the story was blind. So the divine feminine, Rebecca, actually represents our intuition. Okay? And Jacob was us trying to figure out how we can signal the universe. The Isaac was the father, was blind, right? So when he came to Jacob, Jacob came to him the first time, Isaac asked him a question. Are you my son Esau? And Jacob says, yes, I.
Okay.
And then Jacob asked him, but Isaac asked him a question next. And he says, come here, let me feel you. Symbolically, that means that it is our feelings and emotions that signal the universe. That's how the universe knows us.
Yeah.
So Isaac felt Jacob, and Jacob felt like Esau, and he passed the test. Okay. Jacob got the blessing. Okay. It's one aspect. So that's the symbolic aspect. Let's go to the story of Lazarus. So in the story, we can look it up. I think it's Luke chapter 10, verses 38 and 39, I believe, if I remember right. Okay. And I'm just trying to remember that story. But in the story, this is we got Mary and Martha. Now understand that in ancient Egypt, all the feminine letters basically had a nickname. And the nickname was started with MR. So it's where the name Mary and Martha came from, MR. Okay? And that stood for the idea of the magnetizing qualities of our inner being that magnetizes the stuff to us. Okay. So in that verse, in Isis, in the symbolic Isis, there is a chair or a seat or a throne on her head. That's how you know it's Isis. So there's a throne, okay? A seat. Nephthys has another symbol. It looks like a bowl, and then there's actually a right angle inside a box, okay? That stands for a home. Okay? If you read that Bible scripture, it says Martha was preparing her home So there was a direct connection to the idea of preparing the home for Jesus. And when Jesus got there, Mary sat at his feet. She sat. So we had a seat and a home.
Mm-hmm.
When y'all look at and see what I'm talking about, especially in the NIV version, okay? That is a direct connection to them esoterically hiding the Egyptian connection through language.
In plain sight.
And then Jesus, in plain sight.
Got you.
But look at Luke chapter 10, verse 38 and 39. I think that's what it is. But I quoted the NIV version. Okay? And you can see a direct connection. So these people who talk about that Egypt is not connected to the Bible, they just don't know. There's all kinds of stuff like that that's symbolically in the Bible where they esoterically coded it to where it's basically hidden in plain sight. I can go and break down stories like this all day long and show you the metaphysical connection and show you the ancient Egyptian connection all day long.
Man, that's beautiful. Well, we're going to have to definitely is bring you back, man, because you have so much wealth of knowledge and wisdom, and I have so many questions, and I know each question is going to take us in.
Yeah.
Because ain't no quick answer to none of this.
None of this.
None of it, and it can just continue to go. And I want to be respectful of your time that you have already given us. So will you promise us and the audience right now that you will come back for a part 2?
Absolutely.
All right.
Absolutely. Y'all just let me know when.
Him and Coach Ren need to come back together.
I have with some other variations, and then I do have some retreats that we're planning now that we're bringing a lot of like-minded like ourselves, and bro, definitely got to be on that panel. So I'm answering you for I'm asking in front of everybody. So y'all hear him say yes, and y'all don't see him there. Y'all know he's full of shit.
It's like that.
Esoterically.
Oh, you're calling me.
We're not playing, but no, man. I don't even know where to start, but let's do this. Sean, I'm going to give you the floor. I'm sure you might have some real questions that you might want to ask this brother before we begin to go to a wrap.
Well, I mean, I don't know if there's questions. Again, I just want to say that I have definitely been enlightening.
So you don't want to call your mama real quick?
Shut up. We ain't gonna do that.
It ain't a fucking. Call your mama right now.
But see, no.
Actually, you got to.
Okay, he too. Well, first of all, you know, my mama would take us on another journey, and then she'll say, "Yes, you're right. You're right." But my aunt is who watches this thing. I'm waiting to hear about what her feedback is gonna be, and she's just gonna say, she's a researcher. She's gonna say, "Well,
okay,
I know what he talking about. I know he ain't lying. He ain't lying." And then she gonna say, "Well, how do you get these niggas to understand this?" And I'm like, "Well, I already know it's coming. That's why I said,
hey, they gotta want it. They gotta want it, because I don't even try to convince people, man. They gotta want it.
But what I'm telling you is, I'm in trouble. I already know. Some of my folks, they gonna be like, "Now, what the hell did you find that?"
Well,
and then
I'll tell them this. I can back up my.
I understand that, but the part that I'm in trouble about is there was a song, "Jesus is real." He's real. until today. You see what I'm saying?
Right.
If you can replace Jesus, if we can figure that one out, if we can figure out how to find him with
Esoterically
Jesus,
now.
Hey, we don't have to
You know,
replace it. We just need to understand the depth of
they
what
don't want to
that meant.
understand. I know, we know, but it's like, I just say bring them all with you, and then you eventually.
Well, see, and a
Yeah.
lot of it too, it's just common sense. Family,
Yeah, we get it.
know that we
Yeah.
can't get to our peace through just believing in something.
You're right.
We
You're
know that.
absolutely- Well, hold on. We have grown to know that now because we went through, shit, from the very beginning, from your great grandparents to your grandparents to your parents, they all told you this is what you have to do and how you have to do it to get along through life. And, we as a people,
Until you can't.
we stood on those things until we found ourselves and standing in front of the judge, and he say, well, 20 years, and then you sit back and say, well, Mama, did you ask Jesus to come? What? Jesus?
Bro,
I can't do these 20 years.
If I was still Christian in 2000, I'd be in jail right now.
Oh Lord.
I'd be in
Well, I'm
jail
glad
right
you
now,
ain't
serving a
Christian
life sentence
then.
for murder. I would have killed some mothers and then just asked God to forgive me.
Yeah.
And go.
If you up there, Jesus, just forgive me. Yeah.
Man,
So I just want to say thank you, Brother Martin, for blessing us with your time today and enlightening me. And I mean, now I know you in the same city, we're gonna have to get together, maybe catch us a Maverick game and go see old Cooper Flag,
There
see
you
what
go.
happened
There
with
you
that.
go. Flagged.
Yeah, flag power.
Absolutely. Yes, sir. Yeah, Don, they stole Luca from us.
Oh my Lord. There's something different. But,
hopefully we can resurrect some over here now that we got new homies and all that good stuff. But
Yes,
nevertheless, man, I can't say it enough. It's been a pleasure having you. I know our listening audience have definitely got something out of it. If you haven't, then something wrong with you. Now, what is your Cash App if someone wanted to bless you, sir?
Cash App is oh man, I know you was gonna ask.
Ways to give people. Ways to give.
Hold on.
Because over here, we don't believe in tithe. We don't believe in none of that, but we do know that it costs to pay the bills. It costs.
There you go.
It costs time. If you have something, we do believe in exchange of value. If you got some value, then you need to bless this brother. You need to bless.
I appreciate that. And it's $sign Ku. That's KHU AKARU 1. So that's Ku Akaru 1.
Spell it again.
$sign KHU AKARU 1. As we used to say in our family, Ara.
All right.
Ara. So Ku
Well,
Akaru 1. And I appreciate that, gentlemen.
Yeah, absolutely. Of course, you guys will have all of his information down, link in the bio where you can find him and so forth, all his social, where you can purchase book, where you can seek him personally for coaching, as well as joining some of his classes and courses. Like I said, if you're ever interested or had the interest, you should have the interest if you're African-American and want to know just straight history as it relates to African spirituality, Kemet, Egypt, so forth. That's the place to go. So please go support this brother. He's doing great, great things out there. Once again, Reginald, we thank you here at the Prodigal Podcast. And until next time,
all right,
peace,
my brothers,
power, and love.
Thank you for tuning in to Prodigal, the podcast. We hope today's episode inspired you to embrace your own journey of self-discovery and transformation. Don't forget to follow us on social media and subscribe to the podcast so you never miss an episode. Join us again next time as we continue to explore the ever-evolving world of culture with your hosts, Don Jackson and Big Sean. Until then, keep discovering, keep transforming, and keep being the amazing person you are.